Hello friends, I am Arpit and I am here with today's analysis. Today is 18th of September and we're going to deal with two very important topics which are in news. First is India successfully test fires two short-range surface-to-air missiles. These are known as vertically launched short-range surface-to-air missiles. These missiles will be deployed on the naval ships and will intercept any aerial objects coming towards the ships. These aerial objects can be a helicopter, a fighter jet, a drone, or a missile also. So this contributes in India's defense capabilities, and it also is a testament to the fact that India is able to now demonstrate indigenous capabilities in developing defense equipments. Second is Iran's supreme leader has given a remark about the status of Muslims in India. Actually, he equated the status of Muslims in India with the status of Muslims in Myanmar and Gaza. And on his remarks, there was a response given by the government of India. The response simply stated that, countries should refrain from commenting upon positions in other countries, especially if the conditions in their respective countries are not fruitful. We here will also deep dive into the India-Iran relations. We'll see what are the areas or domains in which we are having relations with each other, what are the challenges in our present day relations. As of now, for today, we've given a pause to our thematic discussions. We will obviously pick it up tomorrow. And then we'll be discussing the MCQs on these two topics. So first, India successfully test fires two short-range surface-to-air missiles. These two surface-to-air missiles were tested in 2 days, and both of these tests were successful. Now, India has recently achieved a significant milestone in its defense capabilities, successful test firing of vertical launch short-range surface-to-air missiles. And where are these missiles deployed? These missiles will be deployed on the naval ships. What would be the purpose of these missiles? To intercept the incoming aerial objects towards those naval ships to destroy them. So this is what it is. Now details of the test fires, test dates and locations, September 12 and 13 were these dates from the integrated test range at Chandipur located on the Odisha coast. DRDO, that is Defense Research and Development Organization, and the Indian Navy jointly carried out the tests. DRDO, which is basically India's largest defense and research and development organization, deals into, I would say, defense research mainly, has developed these missiles, and that is why it was party to the testing. Test outcomes: the vertically launched short-range surface-to-air missile successfully intercepted high-speed, low-altitude aerial targets designed to stimulate sea skimming threats, which are particularly challenging for naval defense systems. It also demonstrated precise targeting and neutralization capabilities against aerial targets. Now, one thing we need to understand about these, interceptor missiles or anti-missile missiles, we can call them. They are meant to destroy the incoming object coming towards us. Basically, this. Now, what if that object is moving? So these interceptor missiles also should have the capability to maneuver their movements after getting launched and accurately hit the target and achieve its objectives. That is what needs to be developed in these missiles, and that is what it makes these missiles more complicated. And guess what? India successfully demonstrated that, test fired those two missiles, and that is why this is significant. About vertically launched short-range surface-to-air missiles, system design and purpose, it is a ship-borne weapon system intended to counter a variety of aerial threats at close ranges. These threats are aircrafts, helicopters, drones, incoming missiles towards the ships. This is specifically designed to intercept sea skimming targets, enhancing the defense capabilities of naval platforms. Sea skimming means very low flying. It is not submerged, but yes, it is, slightly above the sea surface. It is skimming on the sea surface and coming towards these naval ships to target them. So then, these will get active and destroy those incoming, I would say, threats towards those naval ships. Guidance and performance. This missile utilizes a fiber optic gyroscope based inertial guidance system. So as I told you that it has to first identify the object. After identifying, monitor its movements and then strike that object. So it requires a lot of, I would say, systems involved. And missile utilizes this fiber optic gyroscope based inertial guidance system during its mid course phase and an active radar homing system during the terminal phase. Terminal phase is where it has to get, you know, it has to go and attack. That is the terminal phase. So maneuvering is needed at all these levels, but maneuvering of these, I would say, interceptor missiles is different, or I would say is given by different, I would say, objects at different stages of its launch. So mid-level launch, it is given by fiber optic gyroscope based inertial guidance system. Then in its terminal phase, active radar homing systems. Weight is approximately 170 kgs, uses solid propellant and reaches speeds of up to Mach 4.5. So 1 Mach is basically sound of speed, and if you are having the speed more than the sound of speed, then it is called as supersonic. So here we can see that it is supersonic 4.5. And there's one more term which we call it as, or which we say as hypersonic. It is speeds more than 5 Mach are there. So it is not hypersonic, it is supersonic. Technological features equipped with advanced guidance systems and cutting edge technologies. The VLSR SAM offers enhanced agility and precision in targeting. Obviously, precision will be there because radar is there, fiber optic gyroscope based inertial guidance system is there. System's successful demonstration strengthens India's ability to address maritime aerial threats effectively. The significance of these two, I would say, successful tests. First is enhancing naval defense. Obviously, it is contributing in enhancing the naval defense system of India. And it is very much important that India's Navy is equipped with these latest technology weapons, because India is wanting to expand its naval influence, especially in an ocean which is named after us, that is the Indian Ocean region. Indigenous defense production. This also says that, how we are becoming Atmanirbhar in these terms of defense equipments. India, being the largest importer of defense equipments in the world, is now reducing its dependence upon other countries. This is a demonstration through these two missiles, we can say. Strategic impact. Missile successful contributes significantly to national security by enhancing India's capabilities to defend against various airborne threats in maritime operations. And especially if we have, countries like China, who is becoming a naval superpower in the north of us, and we are wanting to expand our influence in the Indian Ocean region. And on the other hand, China is also looking for that. So that will be, I would say, a blessing to us, this particular missiles. Now about DRDO, Defense Research and Development Organization. Let us understand about this organization as well. Is a premier agency under the Ministry of Defense, Government of India. It was established in 1958. It was formed by merging the Defense Science Organization with several technical development establishments. It stands as India's largest research organization, focusing on the development of cutting-edge defense technologies. Headquarters, New Delhi. It oversees a network of laboratories spread across the country. Core areas of research. It is involved in various domains including aeronautics, armaments, electronics, land combat engineering, life sciences, materials, missiles, and naval systems. So this particular vertically launched short range surface to air missiles, these two missiles which have been tested, are basically part of this naval systems. This organization aims to create state-of-the-art defense technologies to enhance India's military capabilities. Obviously, it is doing that. Historical milestones of DRDO. What are the historical milestones of DRDO? DRDO's initial project was Project Indigo, which focused upon surface-to-air missiles. This project had limited success and was discontinued therefore. Notable developments: aircraft, avionics, and UAVs. So, UAVs are unmanned aerial vehicles, the drones, which we call. So development of advanced avionics system for aircraft and creation of unmanned aerial vehicles. So this is basically an avionics system also, which is being deployed on the naval ships, which will, first intercept, detect, then intercept the incoming aerial threats towards those, I would say, ships. Then Armament and artillery systems, development of small arms, artillery systems and tanks contributing significantly to India's land and combat capabilities. Next is electronic warfare systems, creation of sophisticated electronic warfare systems that will enable to enhance the operational effectiveness of Indians. Missile system, DRDO has been instrumental in developing various ballistic missiles under its integrated guided missile development program. So this includes Prithvi, a surface to surface missile, Trishul, a short range surface to air missile, Agni, a series of strategic missiles with different ranges. So like Agni 5 is intercontinental ballistic missile, means uh, it has a range of more than 5,000 kilometers. So it is like this. Akash, medium range surface to air missiles, Nag, an anti-tank guided missile. So these are the missiles which has been developed by DRDO under the integrated guided missile development program. Space and naval innovations, anti-satellite system. In March 2019, DRDO developed India's first anti-satellite system, elevating India's status as a space superpower. So there are, conspiracy theories all across the world that any country can be attacked by any other country from space also through its spaceships and all. So that has also been developed. INS Arihant, co-development of India's first nuclear ballistic missile submarine, which became operational in 2018. Now INS Arighat has also been developed and deployed. We saw it, a few weeks ago. BSAT, a self-ejectable black box for airplanes that assists in locating wreckage in the event of a crash over water. So that is all developed by this DRDO. Now, DRDO is doing a lot of work, no doubt about this fact. But yes, it was established in 1958. What it was doing since then? So it's been a lot of time, since 1958. I would say it's been somewhere around 70, around 70 years, more than 70 years, I would say, or around 70 years, whatever it is. And still, we are the world's biggest importer of arms, largest importer of arms. Wasn't our focus too much on DRDO earlier? Now it has increased. What is the reason? So these things are a bit troubling when it comes to India's, I would say, defense sectors. Now India is doing, why couldn't India do it 20 years ago? Why couldn't India do it after the LPG reforms? India's economy started coming back on track. We purchased weapons, we invested a lot in that, but we did not develop weapons. That is concerning. Iran's supreme leaders remarks on the status of Muslims in India. So on this occasion of Eid, this statement by Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, came. The problem was that he equated Muslims in India with Muslims in Myanmar, that is the Rohingya Muslims, and the Muslims in Gaza. Now, you see by yourself, is it the case? Are the Muslims in India not having freedom of speech and expression? Or are they not having the right to vote? Are they not having right to equality? Aren't they enjoying peace, stability and freedom in India? I think many Islamic countries are there where the Muslims are suffering more, way more than they are in India. The actual sufferings are there. If I take our beloved neighbor Pakistan, the Muslims are suffering there more as compared to the Muslims in India. So there had to be a response from the Indian government to this kind of statement. And there was. Government of India said that you should look at your country first. Aren't the Muslims suffering over there? You have very limited amount of freedom of speech and expression. Women cannot go out without a hijab. All these conditions are there. Women are killed. The Nobel Peace Award winner of last year, she is jailed. So this was basically a response to the supreme leader of Iran by India. The statement to mark Eid e Milad un Nabi, Prophet Muhammad's birth anniversary, Khamenei wrote on X, this is earlier Twitter, the enemies of Islam have always tried to make us indifferent to our shared identity as an Islamic Ummah. We cannot consider ourselves to be Muslims if we are oblivious to the sufferings that a Muslim is enduring in Myanmar, Gaza, India, or any other place. He also commented on Iran, suggesting that ill wishes have been fueling religious differences in the Islamic world, especially in Iran. So, this clearly speaks about his mind. But what was India's reactions? Government's response. Ministry of External Affairs of India strongly condemned Khamenei's remarks. ME spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal stated, "We strongly deplore the comments made regarding minorities in India by the Supreme Leader of Iran. These are misinformed and unacceptable. Countries commenting on minorities are advised to look at their own record before making any observations about others." So it is like this. Those people who have houses built of glasses do not throw stones on the other people's houses. Coincidental timing of this, comment made by the Supreme Leader of Iran is, what is the coincidence over here? The condemnation coincided with the second anniversary of Mahsa Amini's death. Who was Mahsa Amini? Mahsa Amini was that girl who went out in Iran without a hijab as a protest for, a compulsion of wearing a hijab, and she was killed. She was an Iranian. These people should see and look at the plight of Muslims in their countries and then comment on other countries. This is what we need to understand and see. But yes, UPSC for UPSC, okay, these kind of things will not be asked. These are very, I would say, political kind of things. But yes, the larger picture for us is the India-Iran relations. Historical ties, actually, when the Britishers were here, so we had a boundary with Iran. Like Pakistan was part of India, British India. So we shared a territorial boundary. But now India does not. In 1950, India and Iran established diplomatic relations among themselves. We both are ancient civilizations also. Mesopotamian civilization over there, the Indus Valley civilization over here. So contemporary civilizations were there. And obviously, the Mesopotamians had, ties with the people in IBC also over here. So historical ties can be dated back to that time. Diplomatic relations, as I said, we established in the year 1950. Diplomatic engagements, high-level visits, frequent high-level visits have enhanced bilateral cooperation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited Iran in 2016, strengthened diplomatic ties and underscored mutual interest. Minister of External Affairs Mr. S. Shankar has visited Iran this year. Mr. Nitin Gadkari was there during the swearing-in ceremony of the newly elected Iranian President Mr. Pezeshkian. Economic cooperation, trade relations, bilateral trade growth in FY 22-23, India-Iran bilateral trade was somewhere around $2.33 billion. 21.76% year-on-year increase we are having with Iran with respect to India-Iran trade, and that is very good news for both the countries. Export and import. India's exports to Iran, $1.66 billion. Means obviously India is having more exports to Iran as compared to the imports from Iran, $672.12 million. So India has a trade surplus with Iran. Energy partnership. Oil imports. India was a major oil importer from Iran. But yes, in the mid 2010s, Iran was imposed upon sanctions from the West. And India was pressurized by America not to buy oil from Iran. Unfortunately, India succumbed to that pressure and India stopped importing oil from Iran. The best part about importing oil from Iran was that we were paying Iran in INR, not in dollars. The quality of oil which came from Iran is categorized as sweet oil. Many of our refineries in India are accustomed to sweet oil, or they were constructed in such a way that refining sweet oil would be easy for them. But it all stopped and it is still stopped. So it did bring a brief dip in relations between India and Iran. But yes, those were managed. Chabahar Port was one of those, I would say, infrastructure projects in Iran which helped us bring back the ties between India and Iran on track after this hiccup of India stopping importing oil from Iran. It developed with Indian investment. This port is vital for trade and energy supplies and is part of the India-Iran-Afghanistan Trilateral Agreement. So this India-Iran-Afghanistan Trilateral Agreement signed in the year 2016. So Chabahar port, the entire port we did not build. There are two terminals. One is Shahid Beheshti. We built that. And we got the operational rights of this Shahid Beheshti terminal for the next 10 years. And this happened in 2024 only. So till 2034, we are present on the Shahid Beheshti terminal of the Chabahar port. We'll be operating it. Another terminal of Chabahar port, which we did not construct and which we did not have the operating rights, is the Shahid Kalantari terminal. So investment initiatives, sectoral interest, Indian companies are interested in investing in infrastructure, petrochemicals and manufacturing sectors in Iran. So infrastructure, connectivity projects to the Chabahar port terminal are also, being built by Indians. A strategic partnership. If I talk about this Chabahar port, it is over here. So it gives strategic presence to India, which will help India in encircling Pakistan. So this is Chabahar port, one terminal Shahid Beheshti we have built, and this connectivity road from Chabahar to Zahedan. We have contributed in rail and road links which have been developed from Zahedan to Chabahar. And obviously this is leading us to our connectivity in Afghanistan. Iran is also part of the INSTC corridor. That is International North-South Trade Corridor. It is a multimodal corridor. From India, we go to basically there's a port over here, Bandar Abbas. And from here, we go to Russia via Central Asia. So that is INSTC. So Iran is also part of that. So that is how it is having our Iran is important, very much important for us. Security cooperation, regional security. No, Iran has also become part of SCO, that is Shanghai Cooperation Organization, where collaborative efforts to counter terrorism and extremism are important with Iran's, I would say, partnership. And Iran definitely will be important in countering Pakistan. So it is important from security perspective for India. Recent agreements and initiatives. Farzad B gas field. India's interest in developing this gas field highlights ongoing energy cooperation. So we might get the opportunity to explore and extract, oil and gas from this gas field. Banking and financial agreements. Efforts to establish mechanisms to facilitate trade despite international sanctions, reflecting the resilience of economic ties. Health diplomacy, joint efforts during COVID-19 pandemic, including provision of medical supplies and the vaccine thereof, actually helped build our relations. But as we all know, there are challenges, and there are challenges between India and Iran as well. So first challenge is international sanctions on Iran, due to which we had to stop importing oil from Iran, which definitely, soured our relations with Iran. CAATSA, that is Countering American Adversaries Through Sanctions Act. It is basically a law passed by the American Parliament, or I would say American Congress. And according to it, the sanctions were imposed on Iran, and we succumbed under the pressure of America for that. Then nuclear cooperation and JCPOA. JCPOA basically stands for Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. Now, why were these sanctions imposed on Iran? These sanctions were imposed because there was a suspicion that Iran is enriching nuclear fuel. Enriching nuclear fuel only happens when you have to use that as a nuclear weapon. And the West was apprehensive about it. So the sanctions were imposed. The sanctions were being negotiated, worked out, and that negotiations and all were called as JCPOA, that is Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, in which the Western countries like USA, EU, and all were there, and they were negotiating with Iran. Basically, it was also called as P5+1, the permanent 5+1, and they were negotiating with Iran for, I would say, giving up on its nuclear enrichment program. And when Donald Trump became the president of US, he junked this JCPOA. So whatever hope was there that these sanctions will be worked out on Iran and it will be removed, they were not removed, and they kept on continuing, which, kept on increasing our challenges. Energy dependency and geopolitical pressure. So basically, we are although not we are we are not importing oil from Iran directly, but our oil coming from Russia comes through the INSTC via Iran. So we have a dependency, energy dependency on Iran. Regional security dynamics, conflicts and rivalries in Middle East, where Iran is the Shia and it has, problems with Israel. It also has problems with the Sunni world, and we have to balance this. So that is basically a challenge for us, although we are able to manage this challenge till now, but yes, we don't know the future. Challenges in Chabahar development, delays and obstacles were there, but finally, it has been constructed and is now operational. Terrorism and security concerns, obviously, there are terrorism and security concerns also, because, Iran can be used as a backyard by the terrorists in Pakistan to launch their attacks on India. You never know, this can also happen. Cultural misunderstandings, like the recent comment by The supreme leader of Iran is what? It is a cultural misunderstanding, nothing more than that. These kind of things do happen. Divergent regional priorities. Focus area: India's focus on economic development and Iran's security concerns can sometimes lead to divergent priorities, as Iran's priorities is upholding Islamic interests, which obviously India's is not. So these things create complexities among both the countries. Then geostrategic competition. So there is this regional influence competition which is going on, especially in the Indian Ocean region. So this obviously can lead to a bit of, I would say, strains in our relationship. And last is US India relations impact. The US India relations impact was there because India succumbed to the pressure of USA and stopped importing Iranian oil. So that is all what we need to understand and know with respect to India and Iran. Now coming on to the MCQs. First is, consider the following statements with respect to vertical launch short range surface to air missiles recently tested by DRDO and mark the correct one. It is a ship-borne defense system which will intercept the incoming missiles targeting the ships. Second is, the missile utilizes an active radar homing system during its mid-course phase and a fiber optic gyroscope based inertial guidance system during the terminal phase. Which of these statements are correct? Second is, which of these are core areas of research of DRDO? Aeronautics, electronics, life sciences. Find the correct combination carefully. Project Indigo of DRDO was aiming to develop which of the following? Air-to-air missiles, UAVs, that is unmanned aerial vehicles, surface-to-air missiles, developing armament and artillery systems. Fourth, consider the following statements with respect to India and Iran and mark the correct one. India and Iran established diplomatic relations in 1950. For FY24, Iran was the fourth largest supplier of oil to India after Russia, Iraq and Saudi Arabia. So we covered this, that largest supplier of oil to India is Russia. Second is Iraq. Third is Saudi Arabia. Is Iran at the fourth position for FY24? You have to find that. Fifth, international north-south trade corridor often seen in news aims to connect which of the following countries? India and Iran only, India, Iran and Afghanistan, India, Iran and Russia, or none of the above. Now discussing the answers to the yesterday's questions. Consider the following statements with respect to IndusX and mark the correct one. IndusX was formed in 2022 with 2024 having its third edition hosted in USA. This part of the statement is correct, but this is wrong. It was formed in 2023 with the state visit of Indian Prime Minister to USA. So this statement holds wrong. IndusX is about collaboration for defense innovation. Yes, this is true. So only true is going to be the correct answer. Second question, which of the following organization manages innovations for defense excellence, that is IDEX? So Defense Innovation Unit is basically under the government of USA. No, it does not. Defense Secretary USA, it does not. DRDO does not. Defense Innovation Organization is there. It is basically a non-profit organization established under Ministry of Defense that manages this innovations for defense excellence, IDEX. And IDEX has collaborated with Defense Innovation Unit of USA. Consider the following statements with respect to Nipah virus and mark the correct one. Nipah virus cannot be transmitted from human to human. No, obviously this statement is wrong. It can be transmitted from human to human, but in the humans it comes from the animals. It is a zoonotic virus. So this statement is right. The only two is going to be the correct option. Fourth question. Consider the following statements and mark how many of them are correct. So how many is the keyword over here? Nipah virus can be asymptomatic. Yes, it can be asymptomatic. Nipah virus can lead to mental illnesses. Yes, it can lead to mental confusion and all. For Nipah virus in animals, there is a vaccine available, but not for humans. There is no vaccine available for Nipah virus either in animals or in humans. So this statement is wrong. B is going to be the correct answer for this question. That is, only two statements are correct. And last question, which of the following schemes aims at electrification of the houses, which India has already achieved by 2021-22? The answer is PM Sehaj Bijli Har Ghar Yojana, the Saubhagya scheme it is called as. PM Ujjwala Yojana, providing LPG connections. Suryodaya Yojana, basically installing rooftop solar panels. Ujala Yojana for providing LED bulbs. So these ones are wrong, and A is the correct option for this. So with this, I've come to an end of today's session. I will be seeing you tomorrow now with more such informative news pieces. Till then, you guys very well know what to do. And I'll also resume the thematic discussions tomorrow. Namaste. Jai.